If you have hip bursitis, you know how painful and debilitating that condition can be. When there is weakness of the muscles of the hip, it causes the pelvis to collapse a little bit when we're standing, walking, running, and hiking. And that collapsing movement of the pelvis shears or compresses that bursa to the point where it becomes inflamed and injured, and it needs to be healed. This condition is so painful. People have problems walking, standing, getting up and down from a chair, getting in and out of a car, and even just laying down trying to sleep. Well, there is good news for you. There's a way to fix this, and today I'm going to show you how. 3, 2, 1, go! Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Burke. I'm a sports physical therapist in private practice, and I'm also a contract therapist with USA Cycling. And I love helping people just like you recover from injuries, improve the comfort and performance of your body, and do all of the things you love to do. So thank you for joining me today. If you are not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. And if at the end of all of this, you think this video was helpful, please hit that like button. It really does help my little channel get more views and bring this information to more people. So thanks for coming. Let's dive into it. The bulk of the heavy lifting to fix this problem comes from strength. Tendons are designed to withstand tension. They're designed to withstand force. And when they're injured, the best way to heal them is using force. Now the bursa, I'm using tendon and bursa a little bit interchangeably, and that's because in my experience, they are always co-injured when this happens. And so what is going to help the tendon is also going to help the bursa. Now, the one thing the bursa will do in this relationship is it will slow the pace down on how quickly we can strengthen the hip and pelvis, because every time we fire those muscles, we are putting load through the tendon, which is good. That's what we want. But we're also compressing that bursa a little. And in the early stages, it may be sensitive, it may be painful, and that's going to get us to pump the brakes a little bit. But don't be discouraged. Stay with the exercises. They do work, and they're going to fix your hip like magic over a period of time. So here we go, on to the exercises. I have essentially 6 exercises for you. They're not hard to do, they don't take a lot of time, and they are tremendously helpful for fixing this problem. Let's dive into it right now. All right, let's do this. Hip bursitis, here we go. I am calling this first exercise 0.5. This is what you need to do if your hip is pretty spicy and you are just having a heck of a time getting to the point where you can do some exercise. So you can see I just laid on the floor. I'm at a doorway here. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my foot up against this door. Let's imagine that I have bursitis on this left side of my hip, and I'm just gonna press and hold. I'm pushing my foot this way as if I wanted to push my body away from the door. I'm gonna press and hold. This is called an isometric, and it is amazingly helpful for this problem. Very simple, it's the simplest thing. It's crazy how effective this is. 20 to 30 seconds, so you gotta hold it a while. Do 4 of these, morning, 4 of them at night. Start with this. All right, come on over. These are elastic exercise bands. They're made by Vive. We're gonna put the Vive elastic band more or less 90 degrees, and then I'm gonna pull outside. So my force is going that direction. 20 to 30 second hold, 3 or 4 times morning, 3 or 4 times at night. Now this next one is a classic hip exercise, and this is probably what a lot of programs are gonna direct you to do first of all. We'll call this exercise number 1, and it is a sideline leg raise. So here's how to set it up. Bend your bottom knee, roll your hip and your shoulder forward so that you're rolled towards the floor or bed if you're doing this on your bed. Take the leg, pull it almost behind you. So I don't want you to raise your leg with your leg in front of you. I want your leg to be back. And if your leg is back, you're not gonna raise it very high, and that's the sign that you're in the right spot. This should be targeting right in that glute pocket there, in front of the glute max, but behind the joint. That's where we really want to target this. Your foot needs to be toes level or tipped down slightly. Don't do this with your toes pointing up like that towards the ceiling. Roll them forward, and then it's a small lift like that. And this next move is called a single leg RDL. To do this, we're going to balance on one leg, put a slight bend in that knee, and tip forward and back upright. As I do this, I'm making sure that all of the motion happens right here where my hip and my pelvis meet. I'm not bending my spine like this. I'm just tipping forward and then back up. Put your hands on your hips or hold them outright if you need a little bit more balance. You can even touch a counter or something to help make the balance part easier. Okay, if you're still with me, you're doing amazing because there are only 2 more to go. This next one we're gonna do is a single leg squat, and I'm gonna show you 2 or 3 of my favorite variations of doing essentially a single leg squat. The first is actually called a step up. Using this 6-inch box, if you have stairs in your home or step in and out of the home, just use that. Put your leg up on the step, make sure your knee is in good alignment, right over your foot and ankle. Shift your body weight forward to take weight through that leg and press yourself up. Stand up tall, tip from the hip, just like our last exercise. Reach back with your opposite leg until you can touch the floor and shift your weight back. This is a basic step up. Using a chair is another really good way to do a single leg squat. And the way this one works is we're going to set our chair up, stand in front of it on one leg, balance, and drop until you can touch the chair and then come back upright. So if that's too hard, start with something taller. If your chair is stable, you can just touch your bum to the little armrest there and then back up. As long as you're not putting all of your body weight into it, that is a good place to start. You can also do this tipping your pelvis back to touch a wall or something else. So I'm gonna stand in front of this, balance on one foot, bend, touch, and back. So that is a 4th way to essentially do a single leg squat. Before we do this last move, let's talk timing, sets, reps, frequency. For this program, I want you to do this 3 days a week. I think that should be sufficient. The first one, exercise 0.5, that is a do it every day because the load is not going to be too much. These other exercises you can start with 3 days a week. Do them to some fatigue. Make sure that you are feeling this so that you're getting the most out of the exercise. And if you're getting through 2 or 3 sets of 10 to 15 and you are not super fatigued, you need to make the exercise harder, and it is helpful to do so. Okay, this last move is a side plank, and a side plank works because the muscles of your hip are the muscles that work with your core to hold your body in a straight line to keep you from dropping towards the floor. So our first version of this, we're gonna start like this. Knees are bent. I'm resting on my elbow. I'm gonna put my top hand on my hip, and I'm just going to lift my lower hip, squeezing my glutes, engaging my core, and relaxing my neck and shoulders. And I'm gonna hold for a few seconds and then come down. That's our version 1. Version 2, come up to your in-line position, and while you're here, with your feet stacked one on top of the other, lift that top knee, hold for a few seconds and lower. You can rest in between. You can repeat repetitions, say 4 or 5 while you're up here. Find the level of the exercise that challenges you the most. Well, folks, there you go. Thank you for joining me. As always, I hope this information is going to help you transform your bursa and fix your hip. I look forward to seeing you next time.